For those unaware, Resident Evil 9 was announced this past weekend during Summer Games Fest. It's called Resident Evil Requiem, and a bunch of press got to play the game early. And I found a preview video from Inside a Gamer. It's only 5 minutes, so let's see what they got to say about it for those looking forward to Resident Evil 9, as well as I got a bunch of other random articles.
Raccoon City is back, and so is survival horror. And this time, it's worse than ever before. Resident Evil Requiem is real. Capcom just dropped the first teaser of Resident Evil Requiem at Summer Game Fest over the weekend. We were trolled into thinking that it wasn't going to be arriving for quite some time, and during the same presentation, Capcom stunned the world and a teaser was shown off as the show came to a close. This isn't a remake. This isn't DLC. This is Resident Evil 9.
Shout out to Mac with the sub.
To where it all began.
I have not read the new Absolute Batman. I know it's the premiere of Absolute Bane. I bought it today. I just haven't read it. I'll probably read it tonight though.
Raccoon City. What's going on, guys? This is senior producer Albert Perkins here at Insider Gaming, and I had the distinct opportunity to see gameplay of Resident Evil Requiem at Summer Game Fest Playdays, and I must say, it is absolutely terrifying. Let me get into everything I learned about the game straight from the early press previews. Resident Evil Requiem is the official 9th mainline game in the series, and Capcom confirmed that this will be a brand new story.
This game is crazy. What's the score?
That will not be directly tied into the Winter Saga. The game will mark a new era and will kick off the franchise's 30th anniversary. And with that anniversary, it's clear that Capcom was feeling nostalgic.
Shout out to you.
You play as Grace Ashcroft. She's an FBI technical analyst. She's not a cop or a mercenary, but a woman who was pulled into a horrifying case that hits way too close to home as she has to face her past.
Motherfuckers keep saying Requiem. Yo, Divins, that's like the second or third time you said that in the chat. You'll be all right. I don't know where you're from. I know you're new to the chat because you came from a raid. I don't know where you're from, but like, there's this thing called accents, right? So some people struggle to enunciate certain things, including me. Like there's like a certain little twang on my voice, so I say Requiem. Like it's just naturally like you fucking relax, dude. Like you know what he's trying to say. Well, actually, chill out, bro. Like you know what he's saying. God damn.
It was tied to her late mother.
It's really ruining my day.
Ashcroft, a name which, of course, RE fans will recognize from Resident Evil.
Our accents woke, chat.
That alone hints at a surprising connection to the lore that is Resident Evil. The footage we were shown, though, isn't just Grace reacting. She's also solving things. As she explores, there is a strong emphasis on exploration, deduction, and that absolutely terrifying slow burn horror that feels much more grounded than Resident Evil Village. In fact, some parts even felt reminiscent of PT, the canceled survival horror game from Hideo Kojima, especially as Grace traversed down the narrow hallways with nothing but a Zippo lighter lighting the way.
So you're not gonna be like in Resident Evil 4. You're not gonna be no superhero, no super cop. Basically, you're gonna be a regular person, which means it should be more spookier and more. It should have like better atmosphere, which I'm cool with. I think this one looks pretty good.
Each step Grace takes intensifies your stress levels.
Yeah, no suplexes.
And becomes
harder to aim, probably
more intense, as even her breathing quivers in sheer fear and horror as she progresses room to room. Now, guys, as I mentioned, we're heading back to Raccoon City, and that name alone in itself should strike an immediate nostalgia for fans of the series. But it's not the same as we remember, as this is the ruined remains of Raccoon City, not a recreation or a hallucination, and Grace is going back to uncover something that Umbrella may have buried and never wanted found. As far as gameplay, just outside of 8 months prior to release, I must say that this game looked extremely polished. Sure, the gameplay was previously recorded and Capcom only showed us what they wanted us to see, but from what I saw in this about 20...
And you know what? I'm gonna give him a pass on that because I'm pretty sure we're still probably like a year and a half out. So like it's still early in development for this game. So like it's not a red flag that it was a hands-off development. It was a very vertical slice. They had very limited. They probably only have like a level or two finished. Versus something like Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye was like 2 weeks away from release, and they didn't let any journalists or content creator actually show what they played. That's a fucking red flag. So like he said, it's cool for now.
Minute preview or so that I'd say it was a game that focused on depth, stealth mechanics, an intelligent, dynamic enemy AI, polished textures and environments, all powered by photorealistic visuals of the RE engine. And you'll be happy to know
Why did she get all blurry? Why this shit on 240p? The fuck? Hold on. YouTube wildin'. It's not giving me 1440p. Bro, come on, YouTube. I saw Max say the demo reminded him of Alien Isolation. Now YouTube is fucking up. Here we go with this bullshit, bro. Am I dropping frames? No, it's not my internet. It's YouTube.
Raccoon or a hallucination. And Grace is
Come on. Give me the 1080p at least.
going back to uncover something that Umbrella may have buried and never wanted found. As far as gameplay, just outside of 8 months prior to release,
YouTube servers have been fucked up today.
Extremely polished. Sure, the gameplay was previously recorded and Capcom only showed us what they wanted us to see, but from what I saw in this about 20-minute preview or so that I'd say, it was a game that focused on depth, stealth mechanics, and intelligent, dynamic enemy AI, polished textures and environments, all powered by photorealistic visuals of the RE engine. And you'll be happy to know that if you aren't a fan of playing the game in first person, you can easily switch to third person instantaneously and
I like that.
From the
I like that.
Menu. So, if you're not a fan of first person shooters or just prefer third person or vice versa, you'll have that choice on demand at any given time.
I really like the tone of this game.
This game encourages exploration, tension, and most importantly, fear. We can expect to see a lot more with Resident Evil Requiem at Gamescom 2025, as Capcom is expected to have a playable demo at that time.
Hey.
We should also expect more gameplay reveals.
Hey, Capcom, drop that demo for everybody on PC, PS5, Xbox, please.
Potentially the one I saw, and more as the embargo lifts today as well, with Grace Ashcroft at the center of the story, and
for the one time, for the culture,
possibly making an appearance, which by the way, he was not shown during our closed door reveal, but I'm still holding my breath, plus a return to Raccoon City. Resident Evil Requiem is shaping up to be one of the boldest entries for the franchise and a true return to survival horror. Resident Evil Requiem is set to release on February 27th, 2026 on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Stay tuned to Insider.
He said it's good. He said it's good. That's what I like to hear. I seen somebody in the chat says something about there's a preview video for what's that joint called? Invincible. I had an article saved. It was a preview. There's preview videos of Invincible. Who got the good video on Invincible? There's let's see, Invincible versus preview. Oh, IGN got one. Huh. Max got one. That shit 22. That shit at 22 minutes though. I played it. It's not like any. I'm gonna have to put this on 1.2. I'd rather listen to Max. Max know what he talking about. IGN don't know what they talking about. This shit 22 minutes though. We got to speed this up. Hold up. Shit. He said, "Let him breathe."
What's up, dudes? Max here. Invincible Versus was announced a couple of days ago. A lot of reveal, a lot of mystery. How's the game going to play? We really didn't get to see much from the trailer, and that is what I'm here to do today. I'm here to give you guys sort of a preview breakdown of how the game plays, what you can kind of expect through playing it, because I've had a lot of hands-on time. And
if they put, because you said, bro, if Oliver's gonna be, if they put Oliver in the game, bro, he better not play like Yoda in Soul Calibur 4. And what I mean is, like, he wouldn't fight like Yoda, but I mean like having that small ass hitbox when everybody else is like 6 feet tall. Like, they better make a hitbox where you can actually hit them, and that's gonna piss me off.
And it has been a long time coming that the game is finally being revealed and shown. And for those of you that are curious, there are incredible friends in this fighting game community and legacy fighting game developers that are putting Invincible Versus together. Quite literally the key members of Killer Instinct and Double Helix back in 2013. So naturally, you know, they've sort of had my eyes and ears for a while behind the scenes now, and they've been making something truly special and truly different in this versus fighting game space. So yeah, let's just get into it.
You know what's funny. I've seen videos on TikTok, and there's a lot of what I feel like, yeah, it's made by the Killer Instinct devs. And it's funny because literally last week I said, man, I wish Killer Instinct would come back, like Microsoft would bring it back. So when they announced this, I was like, oh shit, this could be the game that brings them into the mainstream because now they have the Invincible IP behind their mechanics. But what I was saying a minute ago is I've been seeing like a lot of forced hate in the comment section of like TikTok videos. And I'm like, it feels like people just want to hate this. Oh, look at the animation. It doesn't look good enough. This, that, the third. Like, it might have been this video because he was talking. It was a Max video on TikTok, and he was saying, "Oh, what he just said in the beginning. I haven't seen a 3v3 tag like this before." And somebody was like, "Did Max just say he's never seen a tag fighter before?" And I'm like, "You guys are trying so hard to hate this. That's not what he fucking said. He said he hadn't seen a 3v3 tag fighter like just nitpicking shit, bro."
I trusted you.
Fight. From the surface level, Invincible Versus is going for what looks like the tried and true formula. You know, we got kind of a 3 versus 3 big tag fighter fighting game, alike and similar and dissimilar to some of the other ones that are being announced right now. Clearly, Marvel is on the horizon. We have Nen Impact. We have 2XKO. It is just the craziest time to be a tag versus fighting game fan. But I can almost assuredly tell you, without like, you know, a shred of doubt, even if we haven't seen the Marvel versus fighting game, this game is going to play different. And from a core foundational level, the reason behind that is in Invincible Versus, it carries a lot of similarities to games like Ultimate, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or even MVC2. It has some elements from even MVCI. It's got a bit of presentation and elements from even a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ. In many ways, it's like, you know, American DBFZ. But still, it is trying to shape its own thing because Invincible Versus is a game about two-way interaction. The entire point of this experience, this game, is that the developers sort of like loved the idea that Killer Instinct brought to the table when they came up with that like 12 years ago. And while the foundation and the way it works is not the same, you just don't have combo breakers, counter breakers on every single hit, every single attack. There is a lot to work with in terms of how
you don't have a combo breaker on every attack. That nigga LTG is gonna lose his shit on this game.
I mean, following Sonic.
LTG playing fucking Killer Instinct is one of my favorite clips where that nigga said, "In the combo!" Ain't gonna be no ending, no combos of this shit.
The person on offense is playing the game and how they're communicating that, and the person that's on defense,
I got tired of blocking.
They're able to use their defensive options in those situations. So, straight up, the biggest closest thing that ties this to KI and that two-way interaction is that there is a combo meter. There is a meter that builds over
combo
time
meter.
Your combo gets bigger, and once that combo meter like extends all the way, it technically blows out, and the person that was susceptible to the combo now just drops automatically. This isn't that much different from most fighting games that have like an eventual blowout, but it's behind the scenes. This is a clear.
I don't understand what he's saying when he says you build the combo meter and then you blow a nigga out. Like, what does that mean?
Visual indicator that like the combo got too long and it is going to stop right about now. But it doesn't mean that there's ways to not extend it. There are certain moves that.
Oh. So he's saying when you start a combo, this meter will fill, and once it's full, it has to end the combo. How y'all feel about that? So no infinites. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. No infinites then. I like a fighting game where you have to win sets. Like somebody hits you with a combo, reset, hit them with a combo. I'm cool with that. Like you got to get 3-4 combos before you win the round. I'm cool with that.
Well, obviously,
that's interesting.
As much light attacks, very similar to KI, we'll build a lot of combo meter. If there's a whole bunch of light attacks and easy, quick hit confirms,
there's always ways to extend it.
Attacks and maybe some like EX moves and supers might not build as much. So it's all about identifying how much meter you have, what hit you got, the resources you have in that situation to get as big of a combo as possible.
Ooh.
That might be a little dissatisfying to some
people. Yeah, it feels like Marvel versus Capcom meets Mortal Kombat. Where like it kind of plays like Marvel, but then it's like the gore of Mortal Kombat. I didn't know I needed this combination until I saw it.
Because you're like, dude, well, but I want to do a big combo, right? I just want to do some crazy lab thing that I figured out, and then I go, this is actually not even the KI part of it yet. The whole aspect of the tag part of the game, that there's sort of free-flowing tagging. And when you free-flow tag in a character at any point, you successfully do that, the combo meter goes down. A chunk of it is effectively restored, allowing the combo to go even further and allowing that next point character to come in and do their own thing and have some resources to work with to fill up the combo meter of their own. And then obviously you can tag in again after that. I don't know how far it goes, but the opponent will likely be dead at some point.
So it resets the meter a little bit.
It's awesome, but it leads us to the next biggest issue, which is in versus fighting games and a lot of these tag games. you just get touched and you die, my dude. The TOD, as it is commonly called, which is the touch of death, has sort of been a malignant part of versus games that many people love and a lot of people really dislike. When you have a game like Invincible Versus that is trying to encourage two-way interaction and you're tagging and refilling.
Yeah, I'd argue the touch of death is what killed Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Y'all remember like a few months ago when that shit came out, everybody was excited because this is the first time they released Marvel vs. Capcom 2 physically in like 15 years or some shit like that. That shit came out. Niggas was running into Justin Wong and shit, doing 100 hit combos. That shit died within a week. I feel like nostalgia really catches people. So like, I feel like people got to find a way. Like, it's cool to pull off those long combos, but there's got to be a balance too.
Your combo gauge, which is incentivizing the tagging, then what happens? People are just going to die all the time, right? Well, not if you can break the tag portion of a combo as a defender. And that's where Invincible Versus is doing something different.
The video's sped up.
Reward associated, where you can get a pretty long combo by yourself as a solo character, but clearly it extends and goes much further beyond when you bring in other characters, they start tagging in and doing supers and all that stuff. It'll do damage, you're likely going to die, but there's a risk associated. Every time you tag in a partner during a physical attack combo, there's a chance for it to...
What's the Black Batman's name? I need him in here. Oh yeah, put him in here. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
So there's that risk reward part where it's like, oh yeah, I want to do my TOD against this guy, or they can literally turn it on its back and do that against you.
Darkwing,
to be free flowing,
or Nightwing, whatever the fuck his name was.
But that is not a guaranteed reward. Like, there is no absolute guarantee that I'm just going to tag like crazy and do all this stuff. No, the opponent gets options.
Oh my god.
And yeah, like the options are to tag in with like a light attack, or tag in with a like a medium attack, or tag in with a heavy attack, and there's also a feint, you know, so there is multiple options in there. And the feint is like you're dropping the combo almost on purpose to bait the person.
Yeah, I hope it's not Viltrumite like heavy.
The buttons to counter that stuff are like pretty easy, like medium and heavy. So that's cool. The other big aspect of the game that brings us all together is that there is traditional breaks as well, right? Like, there is just normal breaking. Characters can come in as assist characters, use a resource, and all of a sudden they have broken the combo.
You think Amazon will let them have guest characters? I don't think Amazon has anything to do with this. Amazon owns the rights to the show, but what's it? Invincibles is under Image Comics, so I'm pretty sure it's owned by Robert Kirkman, the creator. So this is a Robert Kirkman project. Oh, Amazon owns the dev team? Are you sure? Because I thought the KI team was under Microsoft. You sure? Depends on the licenses. We already talking about crossover characters and shit.
Right? And those are much harder to...
I'm not sure on that. I don't want to spread no misinformation. I would have to look into that.
You realize if you know the person is going to come in and do like
they were bought out by Amazon. Okay.
Combo with their assist character, you can do a super. So there was counters to it. If you knew that they're coming in and breaking like immediately, like on a dime, you can super them and then get a full combo and bring in the next character to tag because their character has lost like a resource. They might not be able to do the tag breaker. Like, there is a two-way interaction there that is happening at almost all times. That is really nuts. And that isn't even the last, like, I would say, two-way interaction aspect of the game. The final part is defense. So we have a game where you have a lot of options, and I'm about to explain those options. But on defense, you also need really good, powerful defensive options in a game that has really crazy tri-dashing, tri-dashing, air dashing, hyper jumping. Characters get flight. Characters get a lot of mobility options, and this is not an air dasher game specifically. This doesn't work like Dragon Ball FighterZ. This is a sh-movement game. So it's much closer to a Marvel vs. Capcom in terms of how characters move around, where some are limited in their movement and others have different kinds of movement. You can definitely expect that, where some characters will actually, because most
lore accurate,
many of them have air dashing or proper tri-dashing, right? Where you can jump up, back, and go down forward. So that's neat. But because all those options are present, incoming the Heroic Strike. So when you're on defense, you're able to press a couple of buttons, the same ones that we were talking about.
They should make the Mauler twins like the Ice Climbers, where it's when you pick them, you get both of them. And like it has cool little setups where you can do combo moves and shit. That'd be funny.
When you're breaking, that is somewhat similar to a shadow counter in Killer Instinct. You enter an alpha counter state where you're going to like put up a defensive barrier, and that barrier on block, if it is collided with, is going to do what is effectively an alpha counter, like a true defensive, like I'm going from defense to offense, and those obviously cost resources, which we're going to talk about in a second. On that offensive swap of that Heroic Strike, normally it's just a, hey, you know what, get the hell off me, bro. It just acts like a traditional alpha counter in a fighting game. However, you can tag off of it. Because the game is pretty open and free-flowing, and it's an action that you're tagging off, what did we just talk about? Oh, there's all this two-way interaction in the game. Well, if you know that somebody's like, you know, literally won't get the hell off you, you can heroic strike them, dude, get off me. And then if they're maybe not ready for it, tag in immediately. And within
This is my favorite resubscriber on the Citadel.
Shout out to Munch with the sub.
like 20 frames, you got to sort of react to what just happened. Did they do the quick one? Did they do this fast one? Did they do, you know, the fake out? You can bring in a character off that heroic strike and quite literally turn the tide. But that's the, as we just discussed, that heroic strike into tag can be broken. So
Would you have preferred this game to be open world? No, I'm sick of everything being open world.
there is so
That's what I saw. Like, the Invincible community is very split. On one hand, you have people that are excited about this, but then there are other people that wanted an open world Invincible game. I'm open world the fuck out. I'm good.
much like teeter-tottering of your offensive and defensive mechanics.
No, not in a fighting game. He's saying like Spider-Man 2 type shit. Like an action adventure open world game with invincible characters. That's what he's saying. Like, and then I'm good off
Is
that.
the overall feel of the game. It's taken me 9 minutes to get here. That is the overall feel of Invincible Versus, where they're going to take these moments and there's a teeter-totter, but there is a risk-reward association with it. There's a moment where you feel like, I just get to do this to you, and then the opponent realizes, wait, no, you don't. I have a whole team behind me.
Did
We
you
are working
link
together
this?
to stop this shit from happening. It is truly different than the majority of versus fighting games that I've ever played, and it takes a while to wrap your head around these elements sort of coming together and all of your options that are available. But my dude, once this starts happening, like you're looking at gameplay footage of a game right now where people are like, it looks a lot better in this footage than the trailer, and yeah, it looks much faster than I
That's
thought.
good to hear. There's a lot of offensive
Once these
and
things start
defensive
all
tools.
colliding at different aspects, different sides of the screen. This truly becomes the thing that I was asking for in fighting games that we have talked about, is actual mind expansion. These interactions.
Where's
are not
Battle
the same as
Beast?
Traditional.
They just announced it, so they're only going to show a limited number of characters. As we get closer to the launch, I'm sure they're going to announce more characters. But that was another thing I saw a lot of people complaining about. Oh, there's only like 6 characters. No, they only showed like a few at the beginning. They just announced this a couple days ago.
Versus fighting games, you're going to be
This
thinking
is
about what
alpha
happened
footage.
before and what's happening next.
Like it looks good already in alpha.
Extremely engaging as a result, exactly the way that KI was back in the day.
You're done, Ultra.
Looks better than the Hunter x Hunter game. Facts.
Whew, that took a long time. So that's like the premise of what the game is setting up. The other thing I want to talk about is the interesting meters and gauges that are in the game. There's one at the top. It's these yellow bars. It's called the boost gauge. And the boost gauge is quite literally the complementary element to all that stuff we just talked about, of how the game's operational, what it's setting up for, what it's doing. The boost gauge is the whole reason for it. So what do you use the boost gauge on? Well, number one, you use it on big EX moves. Any one of the specials a character has can be boosted for a really big EX boosted special. They're faster, they're more damaging, they have more hits.
Obviously.
You can also use the boost gauge to do boosted movement. So characters have traditional dashing in this game, right? Like most characters dash around, they try dash around, they fly, they up dash, like all of this kind of stuff. You can
Better than
boost that
Spark and Zero? That's not hard to do.
with the boost button. And the boost button can turn what is effectively a normal
I
kind
feel bad for DC fans. Yeah, not only is Marvel shitting on them, now Image is getting in the game. How Image Comics got better games than DC? That's crazy.
Well, I'm just sitting here at full screen, and I dash forward, and I go like maybe half screen, maybe quarter screen. Bam! Full screen. You're in there. It's not a super dash from Dragon Ball FighterZ. You have to manually pivot and control this thing.
One
Point where
t-shirt
it's
community
kind of
can't
swirly
shambles.
at times, and how I'm going to use this effectively is not super defined yet by many characters that I played, but I see the vision. This isn't thing that handholds you, where I just press these buttons and my character flies in like Dragon Ball. No. This will take some coordination, and it also costs a resource, because this boost gauge is super important. This boost gauge is also super important for other things like traditional breakers. It's going to use the boost gauge.
I saw that the way Adam Eve pushed her back, that looked like Killer Instinct, the way she pushed him back with that tech. I
Characters
like
in the
that.
background. It is super important for things like tag breakers and stuff like that, because also there's a boost gauge association for that. When people are tagging, like, you're going to use the boost to pop out of it, you know what I mean? And there's also boost gauge on those heroic strike moves. So it seems like this boost meter
they'll have a boys
is almost more
crossover? It's
important
possible.
for the functionality of the
I'm not
game
tripping off no
than
crossover
even
right now. Let's just let the game come out for now.
used on supers. You got big level 3 supers, you got multiple level 1 supers per character for the most part. And yeah, like, so this boost meter is crazy. So what the hell are we supposed to do with it? Well, now we're coming back around, and tagging is really important. And yeah, you do get raw tags, right? There are multiple ways to get a character
You
in
can raw
there
dog a tag.
safely if you want, but there's also a risk, because raw tagging does inherently have a little bit of risk. And by the time you are doing like block tags and all of this kind of stuff that the game offers, Invincible Versus is a game that wants you to swap those characters out. This is a team game, my dude. Your point character is important, but your point character can only be a point character for so long. You're gonna have to get them the hell out of there, and they're gonna have
We got
to
Virtual Fighter coming too. That's right. We eating.
back their boost gauge, because if you suddenly tagged out a
Too many
character,
games.
it's like, oh man, they use all their boost gauge for offense, and now I tagged them out. suddenly if things go south for me, oh no, they don't have boost gauge to help me out. Oh God. So you have to find ways to mitigate.
Yes,
that
the video
resource
sped up.
constantly. That resource is like one of the most important parts of the game, and getting this flow of getting characters in and out. They have no boost gauge to break now. They have no way to heroic strike because I used all my boost gauge on this stuff. If it starts to sound like these things are complementing each other, that is the whole point of it, man. Like, this boost gauge thing is a resource that builds in the background, but it actively helps you out with defense and offense.
How does an alpha it already look more polished than mine's eye? That's fucking crazy, Chad.
In the given moment, and the only way you're going to engage with it is a way of having this associated risk reward of just getting these characters in and out and swapping them in and out and taking care of their.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
It's once you eventually get a grasp of paying attention to those resources, it's crazy. Just like locked in flow state of like my team just pulling off the craziest conversion and then cashing out everything to take them out. It is so sick. But yeah, those are a couple of my favorite aspects of the game. Like I said, a couple of key components are the two-way interaction, this boost gauge that encourages...
Anything he hated, though?
You're going to go in and out a whole bunch, and the fact that the game has movement, man. The game has more traditional movement, like I would say manipulatable fighting game movement, than any game that's out there. And we haven't seen everything for the new Marvel game, obviously, but when it comes to the traditional or the usual tag-based fighters that we have played over the past few years, from Dragon Ball FighterZ to all of it, like the last time we got a game that lets you manipulate movement a lot that's kind of like MVCI, including...
Tried to Piccolo with the sub.
This will be a game where characters will be moving around the screen and doing some crazy stuff. Like once you like the limiters are off, once you actually like fully utilize this stuff. And that is the last thing that I have to say about my impression.
I see Pacers winning. Let's go.
While I've seen it from an early state to eventually where it is at now, where they're finally ready to show it, it feels like they're trying to create systems that cover each other but complement each other. They're trying to create systems that allow fighting game player freedom to exist, but not get like absolutely disgusting. I've described this game as like an 8-lane highway. It's not a 2-lane highway. No, it's not.
It's been a good series. And you know, the unfortunate thing about it is reports claim it's the lowest viewed NBA finals in like years. It's just like, man, y'all don't like basketball, bro. These niggas passing the ball, getting everybody involved. Fuck that shit, bro. Get a ball to fucking Jalen Brunson and let him just go for a layup on 5 niggas, bro. Like, that's what I want to see.
8-lane highway.
We need LeBron.
Interesting opposite directions fighting each other.
Marketing issue, in my opinion. Yeah, that's part of that's David Silver. But like, I saw a lot of videos, people complaining that the Pacers and the it was all over Twitter and like TikTok. It's a lot of people that are not fans of basketball, bro. It's bullshit.
Is systems in place to sort of like, hey, so we have a vision of where this goes, but we're just gonna give you the most freedom of how you're gonna interpret your defense and interpret your offense against another person, you know, and there will be answers throughout all of it, and those answers will have risks and rewards, which is really cool and pretty much is the way that Killer Instinct was designed, and most of that is because
that combo was crazy, the way she threw the
allows for a lot of design freedom. It just allows
the way she threw the saw and juggled him back.
Place within these systems that does it fit this combo meter? Does this effectively allow you to play the game and you want? Is it too restrictive? Is it not too restrictive? That's things that they have been dialing in for so long, man. It has been an absolute key component of Invincible Versus this entire time, and that is the thing that makes it different from other fighting games. You're going to be wrapping...
I wonder how hard it's going to be to pull off these combos.
Than almost any of the other tag fighters in the market right now. And to be fair, yes, I'm super excited for a lot of it, and I have friends making it, but I did have some criticisms over the game's development, and many things are still being worked out. The biggest criticism is that the game's a lot of buttons. It is technically, at the moment, 8 buttons, and that is a light, medium, heavy. There's a special button with like neutral
so this one might be actually kind of hard to play. He's saying there's a lot of buttons to learn.
Forward and back specials from what I recall. There's assist 1, there's assist 2, and there's also a boost button, and there's also a dash button. And yeah,
this going to be a lab game.
This entire time I've been playing this game on controller, and it just doesn't really feel like it fits arcade stick. So I've been pretty emphatic about that the entire time. They know that there is a demand out there for other options of control schemes. So they're super aware, because me personally,
he's saying that they're not ruling out modern controls might be in the game, chat.
Just like motions, man. I think Fireball forward and Fireball back is enough. I think it can work in a game like this, and I think it would greatly benefit the game to have a option outside of its default option. But just be aware that that has been a sentiment that has been echoed from a lot of people, especially in the fighting game community, that have tried this stuff, and it isn't just myself. So
Mickey.
I think options are great, man. I think a multitude of control options are good, and I hope that they do eventually find the way to make that happen in the game. That's pretty much my biggest criticism, is that like I almost can't even play this on stick because there's so many buttons, dude. And then obviously like the visuals, like so much of the...
A new Fight Night would break the internet? I disagree. Dark City. And this is somebody who wants a new Fight Night game, but boxing is very niche. Fight Night would not break the internet. Boxing fans would be very excited, but it wouldn't break the internet, dog.
Visuals, I do like the game's art style, but some things are still just looking a little crunchy in transitional frames and animations and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of it does look amazing when it's in motion. And this is... It's so similar to like 12 years ago, man. This is a game you gotta play. Like, if there's an opportunity at like either Comic-Con or maybe if there's something at EVO or any of these like public trade shows in the near future, hopefully there's a demo. This is one of those games where people will initially look at it just like Killer Instinct and go, man, I don't know if that looks very good, right? I don't know if that's for me.
I get the gist of it.
Trust me, dude. Like, once you...
We got Undisputed. Y'all not happy? Well, Undisputed was ass. That's why. Man, fuck that game, bro. What's up, buddy? I get the gist of it. It looks good. If you want to check out the rest, because I mean, it's only a little bit left. It looks good so far. I'm excited for it. Unpopular opinion, but modern controls is a good thing. That's debatable. Because I'm not against it. I don't like when niggas run modern controls and be talking like they good at the game. But because I get the argument, it makes the game more accessible. The problem with that is I feel like we do have enough data to suggest, does it really matter if we make fighting games more accessible? Like Street Fighter had modern controls. That game is it's hemorrhaging players. Like it always goes back to like the first few months the casuals are playing, but no matter what, whether it's modern or classic controls, they're gonna quit. It's only gonna be the hardcore playing. So I mean, it's like whatever. Shout out to all the modern control warriors though. Like I said, I just don't like when modern control niggas be talking shit. Like, bro, you're not good. We're playing two different games. I had an article for this. I was gonna read that, but y'all put me onto this video, so shout out to y'all. So I don't gotta read that shit. Let me get through these articles. I want to get on the goddamn game. I don't want to waste any more time. It's like the easy mode sliders on Souls. It's funny you brought that up, Ape the Chimp. Talking about easy mode. Lies of P's Overture's difficulty will be reduced soon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. When they first announced this DLC would have difficulty sliders and there would be an easy mode, it caused some controversy amongst the Souls community. And now the casuals are on the game and there's an easy mode. Niggas are bitching it's still too hard, so they're gonna make it even easier. And this is the argument I made. This is the problem with when you try to appeal to fucking casuals that don't care about the culture, period. It's a slippery slope. Now they're making the game even easier. And you know what? We talked about this on the podcast. Even Watts agreed with this shit. She was agreeing with me. I was saying the problem now is, what makes Souls games great is it was one difficulty. And if you played the game, you were able to converse with somebody else. But now that they're adding difficulty sliders, you don't know which version of the game people played. Also, it fucks up the balancing because people are having different experiences. Because what might be hard for you might be easy for me and vice versa. So you got somebody playing on normal or easy, bitching on Twitter 24/7. And now, not even a week, it's been like 3 days this DLC is out. And they're nerfing it already. We haven't had time to learn the tech, explore, just watering down Padawan. Shout out to the Padawan playthroughs, watering down the experience so we can appeal to every. And the worst part is these people don't even be beating the game. Like, anyways, players who found Lies of P Overture DLC 2 challenging can rest easy as the director has just confirmed that a difficulty reduction is on the way along with other various changes. Spotted by IGN, several players are complaining about Lies of P Overture's intended difficulty. Legendary Stalker across Steam reviews and Reddit, players are concerned about enemy damage output with regular mobs taking out massive chunks of health or outright defeating players within a couple of hits. Some players have also raised concerns about the camera problems with some of the bosses. Like, you could just not play it. This appeasing to everybody who's got FOMO, man, is fucking crazy. Fortunately, all the feedback has reached the developers, and they've already addressed the difficulty concerns in the Lies of P Overture's director later. The director revealed that developers have received a lot of feedback since the launch and are reviewing it carefully. Of all the issues highlighted in the feedback, NeoWiz is paying close attention to the combat experience. He explained that the team has identified some areas that haven't turned out as they intended, hence they are working on various adjustments for Lies of P Overture, including difficulty reduction. At the same time as the combat is one of the most fundamental experiences of Lies of P, the developers will have to undergo meticulous work and thorough testing before releasing any changes. They're gingifying our games. They're gingifying our games. We in the league, bro. We in the NBA, and we listening to niggas who play JV basketball, bro. We don't care. We don't fucking care. I'm on New Game Plus, and I'm getting 2-shot in the DLC. It's bad even in trash mobs. A A certain boss gave me vertigo, worse than the consort. I believe that it might be too difficult, but you know where that stems from though, right, Homeless? And that's my argument. What happens when you have to make, these games are supposed to be a certain level of difficulty. What happens when you take that philosophy away and now you're creating difficulty sliders, you're creating a bunch of different experiences, which means they have to optimize those different experiences. You now have to do Q&A for easy mode, normal, and expert, when it was just supposed to be one thing, you know? It's like going to a restaurant where there's only 2 things on the menu. You know that shit gonna be fire. And now we're turning this, you know, pop-up shop with 2 things on the menu that's fucking fire into Cheesecake Factory, where there's 100 things on the menu. Cheesecake Factory can work, but there might be some inconsistencies. And that's the argument I was making. If the game is too hard, it ain't fucking for you. Get the fuck off this shit and go play 2K, bitch. Y'all know I have a pass with these games. I got the fuck off of Dark Souls 2 and I just said it ain't for me. And then eventually I came back and I got good. And I got more confident. And now when I boot up Expedition 33, I'm running through that shit. You niggas bitches. Go play Hello Kitty Island. Stop ruining the shit for everybody else. It's been 3 days. It's been 3 days. They're already changing. They're already changing the painting. Like I said, this is a slippery slope and they're going to keep doing this shit. They're going to keep doing this shit. Go play Stardew Valley, man. It's okay. You don't have to be. I'm not going to judge you if you're not into these type of games, because there was a long time where I wasn't. Just say it's not for you. We are living in this era where people are afraid to say something is just not for you. And that shit is weird. That shit is weird, man. The difficulty is literally one of the main appeals of the game. Right. And the problem is with people who quit too early is they don't understand it. Like, I don't know if Cammy's still in the chat. Cammy started playing Elden Ring, my mod, right? And she was super frustrated with this Tree Centennial. But when she finally beat it, she was like, I get it. She spent like 3 days on it because she sucks. But she was like, I get it. You have to overcome that first obstacle to get that first high, and then it clicks. Oh. But if you never reach that point, and like I said, y'all do this shit in video games, I know y'all life is full of struggle and shit. Always trying to take the easy route, bro. Yeah, the victory felt wonderful. It's like, I get it now. And then you see yourself getting better and better. And like I said, if you learn to beat these type of games, there's no game that, bro, it's to the point I'm playing Expedition 33 and niggas in the chat are accusing me of being on auto parry. No, you niggas suck, bro. I'm not on auto parry. I just beat Kazaa, the first Berserker, where you have to parry the whole fucking game. You thought I was gonna struggle with this goofy ass game? No. Crazy, I haven't even touched the DLC and they already killing it. Right. So this is another reason I don't even want to try it. They're about to change it anyway. I might as well just keep playing Expedition 33, wait for them to patch it, then I'll play it after I beat that shit. Auto parry is crazy. Just don't play at that point. They think I'm on fucking auto parry, bro. Anyways, my friend quit Elden Ring before he got to the first Margaret boss. Wasn't for him. Shout out to Hokage with the sub. Expedition 33 just passed the game so players can make it harder. LOL. It is what it is, bro. Auto parry's a thing. No, it's not a thing in the game. I'm just so talented. People thought I was auto parrying. It's not a thing in the game. People didn't understand I was doing the inputs. Can we put a tariff on gentrification? Yeah, we need to put a tariff on gentrifying our goddamn games, bro. Why are you crushing people's dreams? Somebody got to do it. Some of y'all need y'all dreams crushed so you can be redirected to what your real purpose is. See, too many of y'all in life want to be fucking YouTubers and rappers when we need more doctors and engineers and plumbers and electricians. Sometimes you need a door to close for another one to open. But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me though. He said, fuck your dream. Let me stop. He said, by the way, I ain't crushing no dreams. We talking about video games, y'all. Cut it out. What's that on the right? The Sonic Blitz. Oh, I clicked that shit. I don't think it's anything. Yeah, June 3rd. Sega unveils Sonic Blitz and leaks a reveal a character list that smash ultimate levels of deep. I believe it's a mobile game. Yeah, it's a mobile only title. I remember because it was made by Angry Birds. Don't get excited. Don't get excited. I remember I put this on the stream. I thought this was like Smash Bros or something. It's not. It's a thin line between dreams and delusion type shit. 007 First Light will be more of a spy thriller than an action shooter. During an interview with Games Radar, Jonathan Lucille of IO's 007 franchise director spoke about how they're balancing the gameplay to feature IO's signature style while catering to a James Bond-centric story. The director revealed that they are leaning into IO's style. However, it would not be able to tell the full story of who Bond is in 007 First Light, so the developers are leaning on what IO does best while adding new things that really bring the full Bond experience. The director discusses all the new features that 007 First Light will have that weren't present in the Hitman series. The first feature is driving, which the developers had not done before. The next thing added to 007 First Light is shooting, which was a failing condition in Hitman, and this is a big part of the game. However, the developers did not want players to go through the game by shooting and want to give players many tools and styles to play the game, basically. Like I said, this looks like a mix between Hitman and Splinter Cell, which I'm cool with. This game looks good. This game looks good, man. So there's some more details about that. You were asking about Sonic. I got a Sonic detail. Yeah, I know he wanted attention. He's an attention whore. I'm not paying him no mind. What else we got? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds might be the most mechanically rich kart racer ever made. And this is coming fresh off the heels of that bland open world in Mario Kart World. Uh-oh. He said a few minutes into the hands-on time with the game and I understood. Sonic's latest racing outing appears to land in that unique category of game that is first and foremost designed for children, but nevertheless has adult depth and complexity if you wish to fully engage. It's that Pokemon sauce. You can play it like it's super simple adventure for kids, or you can get into the weeds or on properly competitive nonsense. We have a Sega... I can't read today. We have a Sonic development team working together with Sega's arcade racing development team, explained I don't know, Takashi, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The longtime Sonic producer who is in the last decades been elevated from lead on a floundering mascot franchise to the beloved steward of Hollywood's latest faves. They're combined into this one big team. The arcade racing team has tons of experience making arcade racers, making sure they're balanced, making sure it's tight. Yeah, but I want to know about the mechanics. What made you say this, bro? But it's got that Pokemon sauce. Basically, it aims to be the best of both worlds. It fits with the theme of the game, worlds colliding. That might be represented by Sonic and friends being joined by characters from Minecraft equally. We know, different characters. You said that this is going to be complex, though. The result is a bit bonkers, honestly. The racing is tight and smooth, and that makes sense. The director tells me that the core racing is built first without any of the other nonsense on top. The logic, he says, is that if you want to race perfect lines basically like this in a simulation, you can, but it's still a kart racer at heart. Then they started to layer additional things on top. I imagine the team is asking, how many mechanics do you want, boss? And him smirking back, yes. Chances are, if you fondly remember a system from a past Sonic racer, it's present here in some, so they're just adding more and more and more. The game gonna have pit stops? I hope not. You pick a character, you pick a kart, but the vehicles run what does that mean? Gamut greatly. What does that fucking mean? Complete range.
Gamut.
Gamut greatly, and can be adjusted, tweaked, and adapted in the menus to give you exactly the sort of the ride you want. These customizations can be cosmetic or the type that will impact speed and handling, so it'll have car customization. Beyond customizing vehicles, a special perk style system allows the slots for special bonuses in a car that can be equipped before your race. This allows you to tailor your experience, so there's going to be a perk system, perk 30s, perk 10s. If you're a racing fiend, you might want perks that do things like increase the power of your drifting boost or how quickly it charges. Meanwhile, a player who wants to feed the chaos might instead pick bonuses that increase how many items that you might get when you hit the item box. Interesting. That sounds like that could be broken. Or make the act of hitting other races actually beneficial. Racing fiend type shit. Before I even hit a race, I can see why they gave us an hour. Then with the options available, which is surely a fraction of what they'll be in the final game. I could have spent 30 minutes just tabbing through the menus to optimize the car. Kids might ignore a lot of this, but obsessives and competitive types could get a great joy out of this depth. That also means there might be a meta in a racing game. Like, I can see a world where it's like, oh, if you don't have the drift boost perk, you can't win against like actual competitors and shit. The big gimmick in races is how the concept of laps essentially dissolve thanks to the titular world crossing mechanic. Essentially, a Grand Prix will consist of 4 races, each with a hero track. Lap 1 is a tour of the advised tracks for that race, but at the end of that, the players in pole position will be given a choice between 2 portals. Whichever they drive through determines which track will seamlessly be transported to for your second lap. The third lap then returns to the original track for the finale, so the levels will be dynamic, basically. It's a clever idea, and it ties in with all sorts of other mechanics. If you're in a vehicle that does well on water, for instance, you could get a major boon by deliberately picking a portal to track well with lots of water. So you're going to have to learn the maps for your vehicle. It also mixes things up massively. You could play the same Grand Prix repeatedly and not see the exact same track configuration twice for a while. I also love how this mechanic is utilized for the fourth and final race of the GP, which becomes a victory tour for the 3 flagship tracks for that GP, each getting a single lap with you teleporting between them. So you're gonna be, it almost sounds like it's gonna play like a racing version of the last Ratchet and Clank game where you were jumping between all the different worlds and shit like that. That's pretty cool. That also means I hope this game is optimized, because it's not, and we're portaling through different worlds and it's constantly like loading in different shit. I can see that fucking up the optimization. So I hope this game is optimized. There's a sense of chaos in how it works, and the traditional lap structure simulates into the madness. You have to adapt to whatever happens on lap 2, and even if you're a racer up front making the track choice, it's curious and amusing parallel to Mario Kart World 2. My feeling is that both developers decided they wanted to move away from the traditional lap-based racing. For Mario, Nintendo decided on the World Tour road tripping aspect. Sonic is still entirely track-based, but instead has you dynamically teleporting from one track to another mid-race. Interesting. Is there anything else? Talking about Mario Kart there. I think that's kind of the gist of it. See why it's a closed beta scuttlebutt situation without a race. Yeah, it's the same. That's it. That's it. No, are we valid today? Not today. I want a new Blur game. Who developed that, bro? If you don't get your nose breathing, you hungry? You hungry, buddy? Why you breathing on me, bro? TBH, is meta in games okay if the game balances out, or is it still? If I'm cool with metas if there's like multiple metas to like balance it out. I don't like when games have like a meta where it's like, if you don't have this gun and this attachment, you're at a severe disadvantage. That shit's annoying. But when there's like 3 or 4 like valid methods to win, then I'm cool. Because like I want the game to be fun and diverse. That's the main thing. But like I would hate to see like a racing game like this where you have to use a specific car with a specific perk to get an advantage. One meta takes away from customizing your playstyle. Yeah. Because like what happens is, if there's a certain meta, you know, the YouTubers are going to find it. They're going to post a video. And then, you know, most people can't think for themselves. They're sheep, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. They're all going to copy that shit. And I think the worst part about metas is I feel like metas are only valid in a skilled person's hand for the most part, versus if you pick something that's non-meta, but you have a natural talent for whatever you're using, you might perform better with that, even though it's not meta. So that's why I always say experiment with stuff and figure out what's best for you versus somebody telling you, oh, you have to use this build in 2K or you have to use this gun. Experiment, because something might be great for somebody else, but not be great for you. Think, Mark, think. Apparently a new Squid Kid game got announced. What's that shit called? That painting game. I don't know. What's that shit called? Splatoon. Yeah, apparently a new Splatoon game got announced. Coming to the Switch too. He said mid-tune, chill. I'm almost done, dude. Give me a minute. What's that odd glow? Oh! $80. Ah! Where my glasses at, bro? Foam Stars is better. Don't start that shit. Welcome back to the kooky world of Splatoon! Who's ready to be a Squid Kid? The Nintoddlers, yo, chill.
Why do people resubscribe to the idea of Shadow having a BBC? Only Sonic wields that type of power.
Shout out to Brooke with the sub. Appreciate it. Why wasn't this at the Nintendo? They didn't have a Nintendo Direct. They just randomly dropped this trailer today. That threw me off. I was like, what the fuck?
What's crackin', Squid Squad? Incoming report from the Squid Research Lab. Without further ado, we're excited to share our latest findings.
You get a kiss. Bro, show the fucking game. What is this
you
shit?
just witnessed are signs of the first ever Splatoon spin-off game coming ashore.
Oh, it's not a regular Splatoon. Oh, my bad, guys. Okay, Minish Cap fans. Gather your Minish Caps and gather your Squid Hats. This is not Splatoon 3. This is Splatoon Raiders. My bad. I should have known. I should have known. Watch out.
Playing as a mechanic, you'll go on an adventure in the mysterious Spiralite Islands alongside Deep Cut.
Fraud watch sound. I just know it's some nigga with his belly hanging out of his Hawaiian t-shirt just itching to pre-order this shit at GameStop.
Splatoon Raiders is launching exclusively on the Nintendo Switch.
3 came out already? I didn't even know. I'm not a fan of this shit.
We'll report more on our findings.
This game never
when
hit for me.
results are in.
Inklings unite! Like, you can't tell me that 3 doesn't look like a fucking dildo, bruh. Splatoon dildo 3. Like, what is it? I'm lost. Is this a new game or not? Because now we're looking at Splatoon 3. What was that? Just like an announcement that there's a new game called Splatoon Raiders coming, and they didn't show no gameplay? Like, what am I looking at? Is new content for the new? I don't care about this shit. I wanted to see Splatoon Raiders. So it was just a soft announcement. $80, guys. $80. I don't know why that was supposed to excite me. I apologize. I'm gonna put myself on Fraud Watch for even. I thought that was a cool announcement. I'm gonna give myself a Fraud Watch for that. Goofy ass shit, bro. I know there's people out there that like Splatoon. I just never liked that shit. I feel like Nintendo is really trying to shove that shit down our throats. Like, it's just not. Can we get a new Star Fox? Can we get a different IP? Like, I don't want to be a Squid Kid. That shit's weird. Yeah, it's Fraud Watch for wasting everybody's time. James Gunn confirms they are working on a new Wonder Woman, worst kept secret in the world. I don't have any commentary on that other than it's coming out.